Hi, it's Wednesday, March 5th, and we're tracking Tropical Cyclone Alfred now pushing west towards the eastern coast of Australia this morning. The system over the past day has been very disorganized in the face of very strong wind shear off the coast, and this system has not really looked like a tropical cyclone over the past day. Now, the system is getting into a more favorable environment today, and how the system is able to recuperate itself after the strong impacts of that shear will be key to determining how much strengthening we see before landfall. The current expectation is we see landfall either late Thursday or early Friday. So that gives the system a 2-day window to intensify and restructure itself prior to landfall. Now you can see the system already making attempts at restructuring itself. Compared to yesterday, we do have more thunderstorms blossoming very close to the system's center. You can see even the latest frames is now getting covered by more clouds. And this is as an effect of two things that's happening right now. The first is that the system is now moving into a low shear environment. You can see surrounding it is very strong wind shear in this subtropical jet. But underneath of this belt of flow, we have this upper level low that's sitting here off the east coast of Australia. And Alfred is now coupling underneath of this upper level low. And underneath this is very light flow loft, very light wind shear. And this is completely different to what the system has had over the past day. Now, alongside this, it's also moving into a region of warmer water. We have a zone here of water that's 26 to 27 degrees Celsius just off the coast of Queensland and New South Wales. And you can kind of see where that line is just based on the convective pattern we're seeing with our storm, where the winds are moving across that, picking up ample moisture and lofting them into the air. It's becoming thunderstorms, and you can see that here blossoming on the western side. Though where the cooler water is further east, we still have a very dry eastern side of our storm. And this will likely be the dynamic we see with the system over the next couple of days as it comes towards the coast. As we do still have a very dry tongue of air, you can kind of see it here with a lack of clouds north and east of the storm. It's better seen in water vapor imagery with these black colorings here on the northern and eastern sides. This is deep layer dry air, and this is going to continue to plague the system. You can kind of see it here digging into the southern side of our storm. But on the other side, you see the impact of the warmer waters. We have much more colorful clouds here on the western side of the storm. And this is as an effect of that moisture being lofted up and condensating into thunderstorms on that western side. Now, as a result of this, this is going to result in the system's southern and western sides being the strongest in terms of wind. And the unfortunate part is that this system is going to be moving slowly towards the west. Like I mentioned, we're expecting landfall late Thursday, early Friday. So that gives the system 2 days before it actually comes ashore. And with the southern side being pretty beefy, you can see it here on this ASCAT pass. We have category 2 force winds over quite a region here south of the system center, but even category 1 well south of that center. This is going to be pushing a lot of water towards the coast of Queensland and New South Wales. And the concern is that we see a prolonged period of onshore flow along these eastern coasts of Australia. Now, the peak storm surge event that we could see here will come at landfall, and the concern is that for areas like Brisbane, that could happen in more populated areas. You can see this map from the House model. This is the winds not quite at the surface, but just slightly off the surface, showing you this very strong western and southern sides of our storm, that continued onshore push for a significant portion of this coast. Now, we have seen trends today in modeling that's moved it south a tad compared to where we had it yesterday. If you remember yesterday when I showed you this model, the system was tracking more north directly into Brisbane or just north of there. Now this forecast has a system coming in south of the metro area, and this has been the general trend in model guidance today. Now, while the trend has been our friend here in Brisbane, the trend can still change. The system is still in a very disorganized state, and this can have a lot more uncertainty with the track forecast. You can see that the system center, if you pay attention here to this little spiral here, there's times where this looks like it's going west, but there's also times where it seems like it's coming north, and now it seems like it's going to do a little loop and then maybe track west. And these little wobbles that we see on this track are going to be key to determining how far north or south the system eventually makes landfall. It also depends partly how strong the high pressure system down south is. And so the concern is still that we could see the system trend a little bit north in coming forecasts, and that could still leave a significant threat here for Brisbane. So as a result, the cyclone warning is still very much in effect here for Brisbane. And even though the trend has been our friend today, don't let that your guard down completely, because we do have this cone of uncertainty which shows you where the system could track in the next couple of days. We could see tracks ranging from the northern coast of New South Wales all the way well north of Brisbane. And the worst case scenario for Brisbane proper will be if the system does come north, because you're maximizing storm surge into some of these bay areas. Though regardless if it comes into Brisbane or not, all along this coast from, say, Grafton north, we're going to be having significant coastal flooding and storm surge alongside the wind impacts on this strong western side and also heavy rainfall. And any rainfall that tries to escape out to sea may not be able to do so easily, because we have that prolonged onshore push of wind. This is going to still be a high impact storm. And in terms of intensity, we're not expecting rapid intensification here. The environment is not favorable enough for that, given the proximity of very dry air. And also, the waters are not overly warm down south, and you wouldn't expect them to be this far south. But given the warmer tongue of water that we do see offshore, it's possible that the system does approach that Category 3 threshold just prior to landfall that has been mentioned by the Bureau of Meteorology. As of right now in their forecast, they're keeping Category 2, but just note that we could see the system get a little bit stronger, maybe creep towards that Category 3 threshold before we see landfall on late Thursday or early Friday. This current forecast has landfall more on Friday morning, though that could shift around a little bit in timing depending on the forward motion of the storm over the next couple of days. That's all that I've got for today on Alfred. Stay safe in Eastern Australia as always, as the system does come your way. I'll have further updates later this week as the system continues making its way towards landfall. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.